Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you is A Life Cut Short. This is Mitchell Jones Jr. Mitchell, who was born in Erie, Pennsylvania, made the trek to Atlanta, Georgia 4 years ago to pursue his dream of becoming an actor. But unfortunately, those dreams were tragically cut short. Now, to give you some backstory and to add context to this video, I want you to take a look and listen to this.
Mitchell definitely wanted to do acting, and his mom really loved him and believed in his dream. So he was gonna go to California, but he heard Atlanta was where a lot of up and coming people, come to. So he was like, well, really, I really want to do acting and stuff, and I want to get out there and maybe politic and meet some people because I don't really know anybody from down here. So Mitchell definitely came to Atlanta because he could carry out his dream. He could do whatever he wanted to do and be who he wanted to be and still accomplish financial goals, mental, physical, emotional goals here in Atlanta. He would go and apply for parts. I think monthly, I would say he'd actually go to a gig and do something, for a shoot or for a video. So he'd be like, I know this show is airing, I can be a extra in it. So he just did acting a lot. He would try to do it as much as he could. He was very much so serious about it.
So, as you see, Mitchell was very ambitious, very driven, and he was definitely going places. But unfortunately, that will come to a tragic halt. So he moves to Atlanta from Erie, Pennsylvania, where he was born. He was one of 15 children, comes from a two-parent household. And from what I read and studied, he was very outgoing, very kind-hearted, loved animals, adopted or picked up a few stray animals, by the way, and sheltered them. So here's a young man who pretty much had his whole life to live for. And unfortunately, he made some wrong decisions. And these wrong decisions come at when you choose to have the wrong people in your life. I mentioned that Mitchell was born at Erie, Pennsylvania. So he probably came to Atlanta with this small town attitude of seeing the good in everyone, being a very positive person, very excited about being a big metropolitan area like Atlanta, not really understanding the nature of men there. Not really understanding that there's a lot of hustlers there. People who are up to no good. People who want to use you. See, when Mitchell arrived in Atlanta, he was able to purchase a townhome. And I would say this, while he was not rich, he was comfortable. And my difference to me between being rich and comfortable would be this. A rich person probably has enough to live off of a inheritance, for as long as they want. But someone who's comfortable like Mitchell probably has enough to live off the means in which he has for a year or two. So apparently it provided him with enough to where he didn't have to work, where he can pursue his dreams. And being that comfortable, which is a very good thing, it probably attracted a lot of the wrong people. It's going to be very difficult to tell who likes you for you or for what you have and what you can do for him. Now, unfortunately, Mitchell met up with this guy right here, Dante Jones. And Dante Jones is going to figure very prominently into the demise of Mitchell Jones Jr. It's men like this who you have to be very leery of. Here he is at his booking, and this was months later after he admitted to the crime and he was captured. And as you can see, he tried to give himself, or someone suggested that he get some makeover because the locks are gone. But before I go on any farther, I want you to take a listen to this.
To Action News, how police tapped into hidden cell phone data to break this case. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jovita Moore.
I'm Justin Farmer, and this all came down to location data. This is the same kind of technology apps such as Facebook and Google use to know just where you are. A man's murder went unsolved for months, but then police were able to prove without a doubt that their main suspect was at the scene of the crime. Channel 2 Cobb County Bureau Chief Chris Jose live in Marietta, where a judge handed down a life sentence today. Chris?
Justin, a life sentence for the murder of this man right here, Mitchell Jones Jr. His father gave me these pictures. He told me these are memories he will keep for a lifetime. Today, I was the only reporter inside a Cobb County courtroom, and I saw both families cry.
I don't think he should ever see the light of day again. I'm sorry, I can't finish my statement.
Mitchell Jones Sr. was too emotional to read a victim impact statement on Monday. Just feet away from him is the man who killed his son. A judge sentenced Dante Holmes to life in prison.
I wish the best for him, but I cannot forgive him. I preach forgiveness in church. It's easier said than done. I cannot forgive him.
Cobb County police say Holmes repeatedly stabbed Mitchell Jones Jr. and stole his phone in November 2018. Officers found Jones Jr. at a home on Laurie Joe Drive inside a locked bedroom. The 31-year-old died on the way to the hospital.
This young man took a lot from me and my family.
The lead prosecutor revealed the case went cold for months. In March 2019, investigators executed their first ever search warrant for geofence data from Google and pinpointed which cell phones were in the area when the murder took place.
We don't use the Q word, the quit word, when it comes to our investigations.
Police quickly eliminated 3 people and used the data from Holmes' accounts to solve the crime. Blood samples at the murder scene also matched the killer's DNA.
If we can creatively come up with new tools that we can solve crimes and get answers for people, we're absolutely going to go to the ends of the earth to be able to do so.
So Dante Jones confessed to the crime after he was cornered. With the evidence that they had on him, he could not get out of it. Now, this crime is a little baffling because there's 2 things that are going on here. Here are the 2 angles as to why he did it. Some people say it was a hookup gone wrong, that he invited Dante over and something went very wrong in that encounter. Dante claims that Mitchell came at him with a knife. Now, the prosecutors did not buy that. They did not buy that Mitchell Jones was the aggressor. I'm not buying that neither. It seems to me that they knew each other, that it was definitely a crime of passion. And the reason why I believe it was a crime of passion is because Mitchell was stabbed 20 times in the face, the neck, the body. That's a crime of passion. And when Mitchell was found, there was candlelit. So it seems like he was setting up a romantic scene. So I'm going to tell you what I believe. Dante did state that they were occasionally would get together, hookup buddies. So this is what I believe. Judging by how many times that Mitchell was stabbed, I believe it was a crime of passion. But I believe that Mitchell Jones, in being the good guy, wanting to see the good in people, that he invited Dante over to end things, to break things off. And Dante didn't take to that very well. I believe that Dante seemed someone who was thriving, who was going someplace, who had his own place, a nice pad, someone who's on the up and up, kind of like a meal ticket in a way that he can crash there every once in a while. And I believe that that was coming to an end. I believe that Mitchell was ending things, whatever connection they had, how deep it was. I believe that he was ending things right there. And it seems like to me that he wanted to go out on very friendly terms. I'm going to invite him over for one last dinner and things will be done. But see, with that, a lot of people do not take to being cast aside or take the breakups very well. Some people can become violent. That's why a lot of times when you break things off with people, you want to do it in a public setting. So you have to be very careful about how you go about doing things like that. Now, Mitchell obviously didn't know. He was unaware of this man's criminal past as well. He did have some skirmishes with the law. Now, I would advise people like the Mitchell Joneses who are actors or people who are in the entertainment industry, you guys shouldn't just date any scrumbum nigga out there. You need to date people in your chosen field. Mitchell Jones should have been dating actors, people who are ambitious, who are driven. An actor is not going to harm him, I don't believe, because he wants the same goals and dreams that Mitchell has. Someone like Dante, what does he have going for him? Now, I don't mean to talk bad, but a lot of times it's choices that we choose to make. Anyone can have goals and ambitions if you strive to achieve them. But it seems like Mitchell was caught up into freedom, the big city life of Atlanta, being the gay mecca there. And he just had a lot of opportunities. And that, like any 31-year-old, 31 is still young, 20s and 30s, just sowing your oats. I mean, you have a lot of testosterone still raging. And you got this new sense of like, you're in this vibrant city. Things are happening, going on. And one of the neighbors did say that Mitchell had a lot of men over. Now, I'm not talking bad about that. He wasn't married. He didn't have a wife. He wasn't deceiving anyone. He's just a young man out there being adventurous. But with doing that, you have to be very careful about the people who you are inviting over or who you are interacting with. Because Atlanta, as I stated once before, have a lot of people who are hustlers, who try to hustle you. I mean, you're someone with a nice place, and people want a place to crash. Look at the homeless situation in Atlanta. Look at how many people are in between jobs who are unemployed. And you coming from another city with a place already paid up, you're able to pursue your goals and dreams. You don't really have to work. You have enough money saved up. While you go out there to pursue your dreams, you're going to be a target. People will like you for what you have. And a lot of times we may not want to believe that. Sometimes we may want to believe and deceive ourselves by saying that, no, they like me for me. Now put a picture of Shanquilla here, Shanquilla Robertson, and hopefully justice will be done in her case. But one thing that her and Mitchell Jones Jr. have in common is that both came from a two-family household. Both of them had parents, mother and father, an intact family, and both end up being murdered. I'm just curious. I'm wondering, is there some jealousy involved in that? That's just a thought. But, sometimes people like this, by the way, Shanquilla is the same thing. Very driven, very ambitious, graduated from college, just like Mitchell did. People can be jealous of you. They can be envious of you. They can be envious of your drive, your ambition, you going places. So in the case of Mitchell Jones Jr., what I believe is that when you chose to break things off with someone, that's not going to go over well. And I want to read something to you. Because this man right here, I mean, I want to share with you his obituary. Just take a listen to this right here. Hold on one second. Okay, here we go. Mitchell Luntz Jones Jr., age 31, of Marietta, Georgia, passed away on November the 23rd, 2018. He was born in Erie on August the 7th, 1987, the son of Mitchell L. Jones Sr. and Tammy D. Jones. Mitchell was a 2006 graduate of Strong Vincent High School and earned a Bachelor of Arts degree from Gannon University in 2013. He was a member of Victory Christian Center and worked in various sales positions. Mitchell enjoyed cooking and was the life of the party, always laughing, joking, playing games with family and friends. I'm going to end it right there. So it's really a shame that a life was snuffed out. And to an extension, you have affected the lives of so many other people. Because whatever the thing was, you couldn't handle a breakup. You couldn't handle someone dumping you. You did not have the mental or maturity to really accept to just move on. You affect so many lives when this happens, when we choose to make such drastic decisions. Now, Dante Jones, who did this unspeakable act, look at what he done to his family. He's facing 22 years behind bars. And this case was 2018. Here he is there. I mean, just by looking at him, it's almost like the two guys are kind of polar opposites. The only thing they would have in common to me, I mean, same hairstyle really, but personality-wise, drive, ambition, polar opposites. And that brings up another point too, that, men as well as women have got to get that notion of this excitement of being attracted to these bad boy types, this thug loving. Many times that leads to nowhere. It leads to trouble. It leads to you having just a bunch of trauma and baggage that you have to shake off later on. So this type of playing around with these types of men is not worth it. As I stated before, Mitchell Jones Jr. or that particular type, if you're that type, you're an actor, you're going to California, you're going to Atlanta, you're going to New York. Guys and girls, date people who are in the industry, date people who are ambitious, who have just some type of a goals or who's going someplace. Date people who do not depend upon you for a place to stay or to borrow or loan money. Sometimes deal with loneliness. Sometimes an empty bed is better than having the wrong person beside you. This negative energy right there, that you do not know how they're going to act when you choose to break off the relationship. Be all focused on your career first and foremost, and see who comes out of that particular realm there. Throwing yourself into a dating scene from people who are not in the chosen fields or who have the same goals and ambitions that you have, you're asking for trouble. The good thing that we can look at this particular case right here is that justice was served. And may Mitchell Jones Jr., as well as Shanquilla Robertson, all the other victims of these heinous crimes, may they all rest in peace. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.